the raised hand function, and we will start calling on folks. We're going to give it a couple of seconds. We're going to start locally. We're going to go to Jen. Go ahead. Jen, you'll be followed by Jordan.
Hey, everybody. Jen Hadfield with the next. Ariel and Slim, for you both, being able to move Shakira between the 4 and the 5 on defense this year, I'm just curious what that feels like for you, having that behind you. And then Eric, for you, kind of similarly, how much does that open things up defensively for you, having the option to move around player in either position?
You want to go, Slim?
Okay. Um, I mean, from our standpoint, it's just really, really one dope to have such a player like Kira. And then on top of that, her offensive and defensive capabilities there's no ceiling for it. So for her to be able to play and guard the 4 and the 5 position is really, really good for us because it allows us to kind of stay as like team of hybrids where we're just interchangeable. We're not stuck to one position. If the team thinks as a scheme they want a mismatch, it's not really a mismatch. Kira can guard a 1 if we end up in a 1-4 type of situation as well. So it's really dope to have that as a part of our component when it comes to the teammates.
Jen, a follow up.
Just the part for Eric.
Yeah. I think generally when you kind of try to build your team, post players in particular, you think a lot in terms of partnerships, and you kind of want everybody to be able to play with all the different post players because over the course of the year it's going to happen. So whether it's Kira and Steph, Kira and Maisha, Maisha played a lot of 5 last year, Maisha and Aaliyah, like every combination you want to be able to kind of go to if you need it. And Kira is just so skilled on that end, has such good instincts that she just covers up a lot. I think these guys would tell you, like, if they get beat, it's nice to know you have Kira back there. But it's the same, you can kind of have her put out a fire on a matchup, but also in a coverage. So it's definitely a nice luxury.
Thank you.
All right, going to stay locally, turn to Christy. Christy, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. This is for all three, if you could briefly answer this. But I know with a lot of different pieces to this year's team, Eric, we'll start with you. Every year is different, though, right? You have a culture and a philosophy that you want to instill, but what do you say the personality for this team will be this year? What would you like for it to look like?
Well, Christy, as you and I have talked about a couple times already, we anchored around competing. We've got Slim and Ariel on this call. We've talked about Kira as we were bringing those 3 kind of back to anchor this team. We really thought that tied into the way they play. We really thought that tied into the way they play, what's important to them. But I think I have a sense of it being a very open group right now in terms of people are hungry to learn, hungry to kind of figure out the combinations within the team that we like. It's a very coachable group. I've really had an enjoyable time in camp trying to learn everybody's games and how we might use them and put them together. So I'd say it's a hungry group, an open group. And I think we're kind of all excited about the journey that's ahead of us the next few months.
Okay. Christy all set? All right, we're going to turn to Mike V. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. This is also for Coach Tebow. Coach, there's no way to control injury situations; they just happen. But you kind of went through the ringer with that last season. How do you feel like just health wise you guys are now? And were there any things you learned about dealing with those situations? Obviously, I know you had dealt with them a lot as an assistant coach, but dealing with those situations and how you approach them.
I mean, there's probably I've talked about our injuries enough in the past. There was kind of different categories of things, but I'd say you get good at being adaptable when that does happen. Both myself as a coach and the players that are on the court, you just kind of roll with who's next. For 40-game season, you're probably not going to have everybody healthy all the time. And the goal of coaches and medical staff and the players themselves is to do everything that's within our control to put us in the best position and hopefully get a little lucky. Like Ariel's last year was stepping on a foot. That can happen at any time. Ain't a whole lot you can do about it, but we're trying to do the stuff to sustain us as best we can over a long season. And also there's just a mental and emotional resilience with that of like, we've been through it. Next person up. Let's be ready to play. Let's use the people skills that we have to be as good as we can. So if nothing else from last year and going through that, we know we can dig down and win some games if we do end up shorthanded at any point.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Going to turn to Jaylon and then Jordan. Jaylon, go ahead.
Early impression.
Go ahead, Jaylon, start over. I think that you were on mute at the beginning.
For Coach, obviously, like early impressions, but like, what are your early thoughts on Aaliyah Edwards so far from the preseason performance? Thank you.
I mean, Aaliyah is just, for one, just a super solid human being, and I think that translates into her play on the court. She just plays really, really hard. She's smart. She's been well coached. She's got some, she's working on things like her shooting, but she's got other skills that help us right away. Her ability to handle the ball is a big, and get on the boards and be physical defensively. Trying to get her from falling hard on the court quite as much. She took a couple hard ones yesterday, but she's just a sponge. She's soaking it all up. She's doing everything we're asking her to do. She's been exactly what we hoped when we drafted her.
All right, thanks a lot. We're going to go to Jordan and then Brad.
Hello. So my question is also about Aaliyah Edwards, but this is for the players. What's it been like working with her in training camp and developing that chemistry?
I really enjoy playing with Aaliyah. I mean, like he said, she's a sponge and she just wants to learn. My favorite thing about playing with her though is her competitiveness and her willingness and want to win absolutely everything that we do in practice. It's been a joy, and I think we'll have a great time playing together this year and hopefully moving forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, just from the preseason games alone, especially yesterday, most rookies probably don't welcome that type of physicality the way she has and like is open to it. She wants it. Like you said, we don't want her to hit the floor that much. But the fact that she's not afraid to get on the floor and get down and dirty and just compete with the rest of us, that's great. I mean, we were psyched when we knew we were drafting her. And once that name came on the board, we already knew. And, it's just one of those things where we got a good pick and we got a great human. So we're just getting the ball rolling with her.
All right. All right, Brad. We're going to go to Brad. Brad, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Coach. Hi, ladies. Brad Lake, WBB Nation, WNBA Swish. This question is for Coach. You finally got a first look at your defense against the Lynx, where you had 12 steals and 1 block. What did you like from the defense in the game, and how do you see it coming together as you prepare for the season opener?
I think we've done a couple things well in preseason that have been kind of the hallmarks of our defense, like taking care of the paint defensively. We've been good in both games. That's something we've done well now for a couple years. We're a team that really can disrupt, starting with the two people that are with me on this call. Slim and Ariel really set the tone with their active hands. We think that every night, no matter whether we're shooting the ball well, no matter who we're playing against, there's certain things we can do to really dictate the game, and things we need to work on, just everybody understanding rotations, help responsibilities, things like that you just need repetition. You need to see different situations that'll come up. Different teams will test you different ways. So for, 7 practices and a couple preseason games, I think we're off to a good start.
I thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks. Blake, you're up.
Hey, this is Blake Spadaro from Blake's Take. This question's for Ariel and Brittney. What advice have y'all given Aaliyah Edwards since she's been on the team?
Okay.
Given y'all are the
Um,
veterans of the team, what
yeah.
advice have y'all given her?
I guess one tidbit advice I gave Lee is to, again, I mean, she's doing it. She's showing us. It's just literally don't be afraid to make mistakes and just go out there and remember to why you got drafted and who you were in college and what they were looking at. That's exactly what they would expect when you get to this league, when you get to this level in your career. Obviously, we're going to ask you to grow, but she's doing exactly that, and that's just showing us why the hell we wanted her in the first place. And even then some things we didn't even see in college is like, oh, okay, I didn't know you had that to your bag kind of situation. So yeah, that was one of my advices I gave to her when we had our little conversations.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback off that, my thing with her is just be confident in who you are. I feel like a lot of times when you come into this league, there's moments where you be like, dang, like I didn't get that, or dang, like I feel like I could have done this better. Like obviously we want you to grow, we want you to be a sponge, but also don't forget who you are because you're good enough, you know? And so just taking that time to make sure that she also understands that she is good at what she does, even though she still has room to grow and to learn.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, thanks. Sean, you're up.
Hi, ladies. Sean Schultz with WNBA Swish. Questions for Brittney. You're a great veteran. You've been on a few teams. How important is team chemistry off the court in translating to the product you put on the court?
I think it's huge. I think team chemistry comes out the most when those pockets of adversity hit during the game or just during the season where you look to your left and your right and that being that familiar with your colleagues, seeing them as more than just, oh, that's my teammate, that's somebody I work with, and actually seeing them as, you know, a friend or a coworker, whatever, however you want to see it. But having that chemistry can really, really help in those times where all hell's about to break loose and you look to your left and your right and you're like, okay, I know this person outside of this moment is more than what is happening right now. So how can we have that as a collective across the board and be able to like go through the fire together? Like, hey, right arm, left arm, we're hooked together. No matter how we're feeling, we know at the bare minimum at our foundation that we are all on one accord and we all know that like we mean well by whatever's happening.